Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Keeping Up with the X-Men, and I am here with Weapon X, and this is issue 10. Now if you remember right, the last issue that I talked about, I'm not 100% thrilled with how this thing is going, so let's just go ahead and get into it here so that we can talk about my issues and so on and so forth. Sorry, I almost dropped the mic there. Okay, basically here's what's going on. The doctor, and I believe this woman, I think I seem to remember her name now, is Dr. Alba. Well, here's what's going on. She is now in full control of Weapon H, which is essentially Doomsday, as far as I'm concerned. It's their version of Doomsday. And she now believes that she has full control, but she wants to guarantee it. So she's jumping around on his back. She lands in this area, and I don't know exactly where this is. I don't even believe it tells me. It's 17 miles north of... Oh, wow. It's in Arizona. Quartz site? Something like that. I'm sorry. I apologize. Anyways, she lands and she tells Weapon H to kill these two people. And then we're left with the cliffhanger as to whether or not he's actually under her full control. Because remember, he's been holding back throughout the time that he's been fighting the Weapon X team that's been coming after him. Sometimes they come after him, and then he could destroy them easily, but instead he just kind of swipes them to the side and uses just enough force to make sure that they don't die, but they're dealt with. So now we go to future Rama-esque Reverend Stryker, who's now a robot man, who, now this is new to me. If he's been a robot man for a while, I don't remember such a thing, but from what I remember, he was just a dude, and now I think this is a very new development for him as being this robot man. Well, they have him in a tube, a bottle, and they're just trying to decide whether or not to get rid of him or what they're going to do. And Wolverine basically tells them that, hey, we could use this guy. We need him so that we can figure out what we're supposed to be doing. Because they're still trying to hunt down Weapon H, and they need information, and they believe that he has it, and they can use him to get that information. So still, in a book with all these Weapon X members, with all these hard hitters, with nothing but rut gutters, claws, guns, and viciousness, we are going to do more computer work, we're going to do more hunting, we're going to do more detective stuff. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm sorry, none of this makes sense to me. I feel like the idea of the book that they have is very different from the idea of the book that I have. I thought it was going to be a thing where these guys would get together for whatever means, and it was going to be almost like a Suicide Squad for Marvel, that they were going to be dropped into impossible situations. They almost all have healing factors or something to the point that makes them nearly unkillable, and they were just going to do the impossible, and it was going to be really cool. And it's not doing that for me. But basically what we find out is she doesn't have full control of Weapon H because he refuses to kill those people. So what she ends up doing is she runs a subroutine of her program. Whatever they did with his mind, she's going to have to initiate that to take control of him, because obviously she doesn't have control. At the same time, Logan, Domino, and the all-new Wolverine, Laura, they all decide to take future Rama Reverend Stryker, and they go to a storage shelter, like a storage shed that he has. And that's where he's been keeping his little secret headquarters. Well, they decide to do a whole bunch of investigation work, reading through files and things like that, while he lays on the ground and talks angrily at them. And then we go back to the Weapon H thing that happens to be going on, and Alba does something. I don't know essentially what she does, but there's some sort of trigger thing that she has where she speaks in his ear, and it triggers him that she now basically has control of him. She's found a way to manipulate his mind to where she doesn't exactly have the ability to tell him what to do, but she can drive him nuts. And they figure out where he is. They say they're going to go for his location, and Sabretooth decides that he's going to get ready. I don't know exactly what is going on, like he's in some sort of reactor or something. It doesn't tell us exactly what's going on, but he's prepping. They shoot down this... they transport Weapon X on a jumbo jet. It's piloted by one of those weird Terminator robot things that have been running around. And, of course, the Air Force is like, hey, you're not supposed to be here. Turn back now. Final warning, final warning. Of course, Robot doesn't care because Robot has no soul or whatever. So they shoot it down. It crashes, and out from the wreckage comes Doomsday, Weapon H, Angry Man, Hulk, Wolverine-esque thing. And he is freaking out. He's mad. He's screaming. He's raging. He's ready to go. And then we see why. She has somehow triggered him that every single thing that he sees, everything that he sees, looks like her. And right now, he hates her. He hates every single thing about her. So the idea here to cause him to go wild was to make every single person he sees look like her. And he wants her gone, so that catches his attention. He's mad now. He's willing to rage. Now, we get a fight scene which is it's completely unremarkable. Basically, Domino drives up, shoots some bullets, he punches the motorcycle, she goes over his shoulder. That's the end of it. That's the end of it. That's 2 panels. We have been tiptoeing around this situation now for, let me check. What part of the story is this? Because this is literally getting ridiculous. This is 4. This is part 4. That means we've had 4 issues to fight this man. And we haven't done it yet. We still haven't done it yet. We don't have any real confrontation. He destroys the motorcycle. She jumps over him. That's it. That was the fight scene. 1, 2 panels. 2 panels. 2. That's all the action in the entire book is 2. And I'm sorry, I realize I've said this before, that I believe that X-Men is about drama, but Weapon X is not necessarily X-Men. And Weapon X, I felt, when you build a team like this, drama is important, character development is going to be crucial, but these guys should be fighting. They should be doing something, and they're not. And then, of course, the all-new Wolverine, Laura, which I've stated this before too, I don't know why she's here. I'm sorry. If you couldn't make this work with the team that you had, I don't understand. You have a crazy good team, and I don't feel like you needed her here. But because she's here, they make her the reasonable one. She tries to talk to Weapon H, but Weapon H, the only thing that he is seeing is Dr. Alba speaking to him, and this makes him mad because he doesn't want nothing to do with anything this woman has to say, so Laura's in trouble. And sure enough, he goes at Laura. Now, I'm hoping that the next book, that because he's stabbing Laura, because this looks like it's finally going underway, I want one of those. This was the moment. This was the chance. This book could have brought us back to the old days, to the first days, to the Wolverine versus Hulk, the throwdown, the unkillable man meets the unstoppable force. They fight. And it could have been on multiple levels. We have Sabretooth. He can heal from almost anything. We have Warpath. He's crazy strong. Like, he's crazy strong. So that would have been real nice to actually see something going down. Like, he can fly, and I believe he has a healing factor as well. We have Domino, who can manipulate. Basically, she manipulates reality in a way, because if you try to shoot her, you have no guarantee whatsoever. Like, there's a chance you're not hitting anything. If she could see what's coming at her, she could manipulate the probability scales of reality and say, nope, didn't work for you, sorry. And so she can manipulate the fight as it goes on, which would have been cool. Sabretooth, heal from almost anything. Lady Deathstrike, heal from almost anything. All new Wolverine, for some reason, heal from almost anything. Old Man Logan, heal from almost anything. He could have tore them apart. and they could have just kept coming at him. It would have been an absolute insane, and not every book needed to be this, but I feel like if you wanted to start out, you needed to start out strong. And Weapon H just is not catching my attention. We are 10 books in, and the best books have been the first 2 issues. For me. Maybe that's different for other people, and maybe I'm missing the point, and that's possible. I took a 5-year hiatus from X-Men, and I paid for it. X-Men is one of those books that if you leave it, it's very hard to get back because X-Men doesn't stand still. Their characters, like Superman. Superman is still the same dude he was in the 1930s. He really hasn't changed. He's the same guy. He's still even Mr. Patriotic, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when I went back to Superman, I missed out on nothing. I was like, okay, he's got a kid now and this and da-da-da, and I see that, and I read a good portion of DC 52, so I know where I am in Rebirth. I'm on board. I'm fine. Here it is. But coming back to the X-Men, X-Men is not a stagnant thing. X-Men develops, and the characters change, and they evolve, and they become. And this means that coming back again, I've had to adapt and had to relearn a lot of things and figure out where these characters are as opposed to where they were when I left the books. Now, I don't dislike that, but for this book should have been an action title series. This should have been the high-octane, massive attack, and they even make an enemy whose entire purpose is to be that kind of bad guy. He has Wolverine-esque powers, he has adamantium, he's almost unbreakable, and to begin with, he was a Hulk, so he's already unbreakable. So this was it. This was your chance. You could have went absolutely nuts. There was nothing holding you back. This guy could probably jump. This guy could probably jump like 6 city blocks. You could have come at him with weapons, missiles, tanks, guns, all kinds of stuff, and he could have taken that kind of damage, and at the same time, the damage that he was putting out, you had a team where he could have taken a stab like that at Laura, and she could have went down, and while she was healing, somebody else could have came in and cut on him or whatever, and you could have just attempted to wear him down or found something that works as the fight goes on and try to subdue him or take out her or break that mind control. And I don't know. There's something about this that they're going around. They're researching things on computers. Warpath doesn't even do anything. He's their computer guy. He's the guy in the chair, to quote Spider-Man, and to show the ridiculousness of all these things that are happening now. Like, every superhero has to have, like, the tech team behind him now because of CW. And we didn't need that here. We didn't need that here. Maybe for an issue or two, but Warpath has done nothing for, like, 3.5 books at least, maybe longer. It might even be 5 books. Warpath has literally just sat in a chair. Ooh, great utilization. For me, this book is simply not working. I'm going to keep reviewing it, of course, because that is the show that I promised, and I'm going to put up with this for as long as I can, and I'm hoping that the next issue picks up, that the next issue does what I'm hoping for. You know, I don't need battles all the time, but since it's what I hoped Weapon X would be, and we have now went 4 books, and in all 4 books we've seen a total. We cannot fill one book with fights from the fights that we have gotten from 4 books. That is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. This book had 2 panels of conflict. 2. That is not acceptable for a title with the name Weapon X. This has a team in it that is meant for throwdown. And all they do is sit down. I'm sorry. We're going to give it some more time. But, as you could tell, I am not thrilled with this title and where it is going so far. So, guys, you are now all caught up with Weapon X. Catch you later.